Greetings everyone, this is Elizabeth and this is our October 21st fall/Halloween card series episode. And I am using a piece of watercolor paper that I've splattered the other day during a live, and I will post that link down below. Super easy, just splatter. And when I was picking stuff up to put it away, I was like, I could totally use this in my card series because it does kind of look like splatter. And I immediately thought of a stamp that I had by Visible Image. And it's this lovely chest skeleton. And then I was like, let's find a bug to add some bling to it. And this is a Tim Holtz little bug. Let me pull that one out. That is from Tim Holtz Multimedia 111. And it came with some stencils and these little cute little bugs. And this is the one I chose right here. And I just stamped it in some Versamark and then heat embossed it with some gold to save us some time. So there it is, all fussy cut out and looking beautiful. That way there I can have an element that pops up. But before we get started, I just want to cut a section of this because I'm going to be back tomorrow with this same sheet and we're going to turn it into a fall card because I totally see it. I see some pumpkins on there. And we're going to try and make that work. So I'm just going to cut out a section that's going to be big enough for my card front, which we are using the 5.5 by 4 1/4. Okay. And just give me a moment. I'll be right back. Yes, I'm back. And of course, I went to trim it. And the watercolor pad has a sticky to hold it in place, and sometimes when you peel it, it gives this fuzzy edge. And as I was chopping this down to size, I was like, this would really be cool with a torn edge. Now, if you have a decal trimmer, absolutely, that would be perfect for this. Just go ahead and decal your edges. But I don't have that lovely trimmer. What I do have is a ruler, and to do it old school. Now I am going to just fast forward through this because this is going to take me a little bit, because I'm just going to try and rip a little bit off at each side. And we'll see how that goes. Actually, I think I'm going to wet the paper a little bit. That's going to help me. So I'll do that and I'll be right back. There we have it, all nice and torn. It took a little bit because watercolor paper is a pretty thick paper. It's designed to hold a lot of water. And we're going to spruce this up. Now, because it's watercolor, it did smear when I added water to tear it down the center, which is okay. We're going to just hide that a little bit with some mica stain and some distress oxides in the more traditional Halloween colors. We've got some orange, this is carved pumpkin, twisted citron, and wilted violet. And then the mica spray, I picked Tree Lot or mica stain. It's a darker green, and that's from the Christmas collection. I'm gonna grab my splatter box. Let's raise you up a wee bit. Okay, get that in there. And we're going to make sure we can see. We're going to add the mica one down first because it is the darker color I want to mute it back. Okay. Now, these do leak a little when you shake them. So when you pop off the lid, just give it a wipe. Okay. You see all that stuff in there? It just gets in there. There we go. Just a couple of little squirts. The mica will still show through under our other sprays. And we're just gonna add a couple of extra bits of color. So there's a little bit of orange. Trying to get some big spurts. Let it mingle and mix. Shake off that little buildup there. And to get the bigger spurts, if you just pump slowly, I like to fill it. If you pump a little bit, you'll notice that it goes down quite a bit. But if you keep pumping, it stiffens up, like pumping the brakes on the car. And then once it gets nice and tight, you just go as slowly as possible. And it will make bigger splats. And then whatever's built up in there from not getting sprayed right away, you can just shake right off. Give it a little wipe. And then recap. And then we have this beautiful extra spotty. And we mixed watercolor with micas and oxides. So when this dries back a little bit, we'll yeah, see the watercolor in there. So fabulous. We'll be able to see the shimmer when it dries. So I will be right back with you. We're just gonna let this dry. All right, got the Misty out because I do want this to stamp really well. And in watercolor paper, okay, it's got a lot of tooth. It's got a lot of hills and valleys. So I want to be able to stamp this a few times to get it just right. Got my little moth ready. Now, I'm going to use my, I'm kind of in debate. I think I'm going to use my Stays On. I think it's a little bit blacker than my Memento. Normally, I would pull out my VersaFine Clair, but I'm running low on my VersaFine. So we're just going to ink this up a few times just so we can get a good impression. Now, the Stays On is a permanent staining ink. It will stain your stamp. Okay. Stays On is good if you want to stamp on more slick surfaces like acetate and stuff. It is solvent, so it will react to alcohol markers because they are also a solvent. So you can get some really cool effects with Stays On. Well, if we can get it to stamp, that would be fabulous. But I'm okay if it stains my stamp because it's well cut, it's well designed. I'll still be able to see where I put it. Okay. I'm just going to build that up the best we can. And it dries really fast, so it's get the ink on and then stamp it off. It's starting to build up now. Get more in the center here. There is a void there, right there, but we still need to make sure it gets inky. So I'm leaving this in there so you can see sometimes depending on your ink and watercolor paper, that's why you want your Misty, okay? Because it's gonna need a ton of stamping. VersaFine Clair would have covered it a lot better. but just gotta get a refill for that. Oh, look at that. It's looking really good now. Going over all that color, just over the top of everything. I think this one will be the last one. Now on some surfaces, it does take a little bit to dry. If you're doing like acetate and stuff, I'd let it set for 24 hours just to be sure. Ooh, look at that. Okay, and here's some of our valleys on the paper. Those little specks, that's the valleys. Because this is a cold press paper. If you have a little bit of extra and you want a good stamping watercolor paper, get hot press. Hot press is more expensive, but your results will be different. You won't have all these little spots. But for me, it's grungy, it's cool. I don't mind. Now your StazOn has a little cover. It says do not discard. Okay, that just helps the ink pad stay moist and damp in there, because that stuff will dry out like crazy. Now here's how I clean this. Okay, we get a rag that we don't care about, and wash rags leave a lot of lint, so keep that in mind. And I'm gonna grab some alcohol, and the stronger the alcohol, the better it's going to clean, because again, it's a solvent. And I'm just gonna get it nice and covered. Okay, and then I'm gonna just gently rub the ink off of there. Now it's gonna stain. There's no way around it, but you'll be able to get most of that ink off. Okay, get a little bit more alcohol, clean up my... Now, this is a solvent. We need to deactivate it, make sure it's not doing anything else to our stamp. Okay, now I'm going to change rags because this leaves lint behind. And I'm going to hose it down with just straight water. Let it sit there a little bit. And then I will take my lint-free rag, just a microfiber cloth, and I'm going to just wipe that down, and this will be good to go for the next round. Okay, and you can see that this stamp, such a good, I like how they do these. They've trimmed it right up to the edge, so if you're worried that you can't see through it, don't panic, because it is within its boundaries. So this edge is going to stamp, see that, right up to the edge. So don't panic. Let that color build up. It's no big deal. And it is good to go. It's all nice and clean. It's still sticky. And it's not leaving any black behind. So I'll put that away. Clean our little door. Pull out our elements. Put this away. Okay. Now we're going on the home stretch. Got our nice... Now that we have all that color on there, I'm not sure that a white base is going to be good enough for us. Let's see what a black base does. Yeah, look at that. Sometimes you just got to switch it out. Oh, I like that. And I'm just going to glue that flat because watercolor paper is pretty thick. And we have our little edges. So, yeah, I think I'm going to just glue that down. And we don't need a ton of glue. Don't need those hills and valleys for sure. There we go. And we're gonna just gently set this down. Scooch this where we want it, and push it down. Okay, and then this will be our pop-up element. So I'm going to get some foam dots for this one. I do want it kind of tall, so I'm going to get my bigger foam dots. These ones have quite a bit of depth to them. I'm just going to pop 2 on here. Ooh, you know what we should probably do is bend it. That would be fun. Make it look like its wings are up. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a little piece of score tape. We're going to put it in the body. So the body goes down to the paper and the wings will pop up. That'll be just a fun little element. Okay, so we just need a little bit of score tape right down the center. And I missed a little bit, but that's okay. So what we're going to do is pick this off, a little backing, okay. Now where I went off, I'm just going to roll that back on itself so it doesn't stick out, okay. And then I'm going to peel these, but I'm going to hold them up so that I can stick the body down, just like so. Put my little body there. Oops, I guess those are too big. Let's see if we can't maneuver this to sit flat, like so. So I'm just kind of bending the wing a little so that I can get the pop dot to sit flat. There we go. There we go. That's what we wanted. Okay. Show you the dimensions, how it caves in right there. Okay. Something cool. Ooh, I like that. Haha. Yeah. And then we can do our spooky sentiment on there. And this card is good to go. Or you can do a spooky sentiment in here. You can write with a gel pen. I love writing with my Sharpie silver marker on black. It's a nice big bold mark. Or you can just put a white piece of paper in there and write on that. What do you guys think? I love it. If this inspires you to do some splotchy watercolor work, sprays and oxides, or whatever you have available, be sure to hashtag #ChatWithSassy on Instagram and Facebook. I'd love to see what you've created, or join our Facebook group, Chat with Sassy's Crafty Friends, and post photos there. And a group of us would love to see what you've created. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.